Tonight, a southwest mum left with horrific burns after a gardening accident. It's official, the bushfire season has arrived. Have you got your emergency plan in place? And Australia's first driverless heavy haulage train starts work in the Pilbara.
Live across Western Australia, GWN7 News with Noel Brunning.
Good evening. First tonight, a southwest mother has suffered serious burns after a jet lighter exploded in her face. The woman was burning grass trees when the torch blew up, leaving her with horrific burns to her face and arms. Now she wants to warn others of the danger.
These are the burns suffered by 25-year-old Bianca Taylor when a jet lighter erupted while she was gardening.
The bottom exploded and it was like the gas pressure had just built up and it just banged straight in my face.
The Donnybrook mother of one was burning grass trees in her garden last week when the jet lighter exploded, burning her face and arms and setting her clothes and hair on fire.
Like no other pain I've ever felt. Like it literally, as soon as the flames hit me, it was like my skin had just been scorched off.
Bianca spent 2 nights in hospital and says she is still in constant pain a week later. The mini flame torch costs just $29.95 and was bought from variety store Crazy Price in Bunbury's Park Centre 6 months ago. The store's manager says it's the first time something like this has happened and removed the torch from shelves immediately.
All I really want out of this whole thing is just to get the lighters off the shelf. I don't want this to happen to another mum or another person for that matter.
Consumer Protection says they are still gathering all the facts before investigating the incident. Bianca will now have to undergo physiotherapy to regain the full use of her arms and face. She says she'll be left with scars, but considers herself lucky.
So lucky. So lucky. It could have been so much worse.
Simone Kerr, GWN7 News.
A 22-year-old Chinese man has died after being electrocuted on a ship in Bunbury at the weekend. Police and emergency crews were called to the Bunbury port on Saturday evening after a crew member on board the Efficiency was found unresponsive. The man was taken to hospital but died a short time later. The Panamanian flagship has been banned from operating electronics until its safety can be reviewed. Energy Safety and the Australian Maritime Safety Authority are investigating. Police will prepare a report for the coroner. A Columbaroo man has been charged with manslaughter after a woman died from stab wounds in Kununurra. Police were called to a home on Mulga Street just before 5 a.m. on Friday. The 25-year-old woman had serious stab wounds to her legs. She was taken to hospital in a critical condition but died later in the day. Liquor stores in the town were closed over the weekend in case of alcohol-fuelled reprisals. A 30-year-old man appeared by video link in the Perth Magistrates Court yesterday, charged with manslaughter. Bail was refused and he was remanded in custody to reappear later this month. It's been a busy weekend for police on WA roads. In Lancelin, a car caught fire after becoming bogged in sand dunes. It's reported the driver was trying to free the car when it burst into flames. Meanwhile, in Esperance, a 20-year-old man has had his ute impounded after he was caught driving at more than 90 kilometres over the speed limit. The vehicle had been previously impounded. He'd had it back just a day before it was seized again. And in Charlie Creek, a man was airlifted to Bunbury Hospital after a crash between a car and a motorcycle on Sandhills Road. It's official, the bushfire season is underway and the Department of Emergency Services is again pushing the importance of making a bushfire survival plan. Frightening new figures show just 16% of people have spoken to their families about how they would survive a bushfire.
Bushfires are always a real and credible threat in WA, with over 90% of the state being bushfire prone.
You can't outrun it, you can't outlast it, so take 5 minutes to outsmart it. This is the latest advice from the Department of Fire and Emergency Services. The Are You Bushfire Ready campaign was launched in Argyll and is urging people to have a 5-minute chat with their family and neighbours to develop a bushfire plan.
I can't stress how important it is that those plans need to be made prior to the bushfire event.
The new Fire Chat program is available online and in hard copy and will help residents create a simple survival plan in just 5 minutes. The questionnaire asks individuals and families if they know when to leave, where they would go, and which way they would go if a bushfire warning was in place.
It's much simpler than the previous program, easier to follow, and because it's less complex, I think people are going to be more inclined to complete it and have a fire plan.
The fire chat is absolutely critical to make sure that both you, your family and your neighbours know what you're going to do in the event of a bushfire impacting your property.
The government has set aside nearly $4 million in this year's budget to extend bushfire risk management plans through the state. WA has been badly hit in recent years by deadly bushfires in Esperance and in Yarloop. Before that, there were devastating blazes in Margaret River and the Perth Hills, in which many homes and other buildings were destroyed. Laura Thomas, GWN7 News.
A 3-month-long national gun amnesty is drawn to a close, with more than 1,000 weapons handed in to police across the state. But anyone who missed out on handing in their unlicensed guns will get a second chance.
The National Gun Amnesty drew to a close at midnight on Saturday. Up until then, unlicensed or illegal guns could be handed in to police, no questions asked, and it's been hailed a success, with more than 1,200 guns handed in.
Now, in the metropolitan area, we had just over 700 weapons handed in, and in the country regions had just over 500.
We have had a number of amnesties here, local West Australian-based amnesties. So by our own estimate, we believe this is a really big success.
The first national gun amnesty took place after the 1996 Port Arthur massacre, where 35 people were killed in a shooting rampage. Over the past 3 months, WA Police received 180 shotguns, 860 rifles, 196 handguns, and more than 65,500 rounds of ammunition. And much to the police's surprise, more than 90 different historical weapons.
We'll ensure that we do as much as we can to keep in the proper places, whether they be museums or indeed in a collection.
But illegal guns or weapons believed to have been used in criminal activity will be destroyed. For those who didn't get the chance to hand in their guns, WA Police are offering a second chance, as long as the weapons aren't stolen or involved in crime.
Despite the amnesty having been officially finished, we want you to contact police and say you want to surrender it, and there may be still an opportunity, even now, for you to get that licensed.
Emily Evans, GWN7 News.
Rio Tinto have unveiled Australia's first unmanned heavy haulage train. It travelled nearly 100 kilometres through the Pilbara from Wombat Junction to Paraburdoo without a driver on board. Rio's train started running on automatic at the start of the year, but always have had a driver on board as a fail-safe. This driverless trip was completed safely while being closely monitored by Rio Tinto teams across the state. The mining giant hopes to have a fully autonomous train network in the region by late 2018. Someone in WA is $2 million richer after Saturday night's lotto draw. The Division 1 winning ticket was bought from the Dream Today kiosk in Bunbury's Centrepoint Shopping Centre, one of just 2 Division 1 tickets sold across the country.
So it was $4 million we had on, but yeah, so $2 million was one in WA and the other half was over east. But yeah, no one's been in to claim it yet, so hopefully they'll come in soon.
So far this year, Lottery West have given away $23 million to winners in regional WA. Wacko, spring has sprung. Here's Simone with your weather details tonight.
Thanks, Noel. Spring has certainly arrived in the south of WA, but it was a bit hit and miss. A weak cold front brushed past the southwest coast, moving slowly east. It did bring a little bit of drizzle, but it was quite patchy. Meanwhile, a surface trough sitting over the northern Kimberley brought showers and a possible thunderstorm. It was still warm to our north though. Wyndham reached 36 today. It was 41 in Fitzroy Crossing, our highest maximum. In the Pilbara, 35 in Port Hedland, and it was 38 in Marble Bar. Southwesterlies through the Gascoyne today, Carnarvon 27, Geraldton 26. Across to the Goldfields, it was 13 before a top of 29 for Kalgoorlie. It dropped to just 2 degrees in Jarrawood overnight, our coldest spot. Albany reached 21. But it was a warm day to our southeast coast. Esperance reached 29 degrees. Rainfall till 9 this morning, and there's only a little bit of colour on the map, as you can see. Kununurra had 7 mils overnight, Ellen Bray had 6, and it was just scattered falls to our south, less than a millimetre in the gauges. And I'll have your working week weather coming up after sport.
Thanks, Tim. Coming up, also a truck hits a power pole outside a Southwest school. Plus, battling the mining downturn. The drive to get companies to take on more apprentices.
Stay in touch 24/7 with GWN7 News.
Collie police are looking for the owner of over 100 cannabis plants found in bushland yesterday in Bowelling, around 30 kilometres southeast of Collie. The plants will be destroyed. Meanwhile, on Friday night, Wagen police charged a man and woman with drugs offences after a traffic stop. The male driver from Noangarup tested positive to a roadside drug test. Police say they also found methamphetamine on him. His female passenger from Perth was found in possession of 7 grams of cannabis, 2 grams of meth and a meth pipe. They'll face the Narrogin Magistrates Court. A truck driver crashed into a power pole in Bustleton this morning. It happened around 9:30 here near the Bustleton Senior High School. Police say the driver clipped the power pole, snapping it in two. St John Ambulance took her to the Bustleton Health Campus for a checkup. She was released a short time later. Meanwhile, around 350 homes in Bustleton were left without power following a separate incident. Western Power says an underground cable fault is to blame. The homes affected could be without power until 8 p.m. The mining downturn has meant companies across the state have had to reduce their workforces, and for many, particularly in the goldfields, apprentices were the first to go. But now the federal government has stepped in to boost traineeships by supporting companies who take on apprentices.
Hayden Hunter has been an apprentice in Kalgoorlie for a year, and he's got a big job to do.
Very different from working on, say, a car or a four-wheel drive, completely different. It's a lot more of an obstacle to try and get around, but at the end of the day you get it done.
He says it was hard to get into the field, but he now has a better chance at making a career in the mining business.
A pretty special thing, I guess you could say, because not many people get the opportunity, and for my future I think having that and becoming a tradesman is an important part of what I want to do.
The Apprenticeship Support Network says since 2012 there's been a decline in the number of people taking up apprenticeships in WA.
The resource sector has gone down a little bit with all the falling commodities such as iron ore. So that has impacted quite a lot with the contractors, therefore they don't need any more apprentices or trainees.
To tackle that problem, the federal government put together a package to support companies who take on apprentices like Hayden, giving them tax exemptions and wage subsidies.
I love it, yeah. I love being a boilermaker, apprentice, building stuff, just being able to create things with your own imagination is pretty cool.
Kate Ryan, GWN7 News.
Regular flights have now started to one of the most remote parts of our state. Avi Air now flies 4 return flights a week to Columbaroo from Kununurra, giving the community better access to health professionals, contractors and other family members. The road to the Eastern Kimberley community can sometimes be cut off during the wet season. It's hoped these flights to Columbaroo will make it that little bit less remote than it was. An astonishing group of Japanese drummers have been touring country WA. The Yamato drummers use traditional taiko drums, which are normally used in Shinto rituals rather than stage shows. And it takes a lot of physical effort and training to put together a show like this. Fresh from Kalgoorlie and Esperance, they're in Bunbury tonight and Mandurah tomorrow. Perth on Thursday and Geraldton on Friday. Coming up, a strong start to the season for WA's cricketers with a country legend showing the way. And short course swimming competition returns to the Kimberley, attracting clubs from all over the region. The cricket season is back in full swing and WA has started strongly, smashing Victoria at the weekend in their second consecutive win in the JLT One Day Cup. The country cricket legend leading the team to victory.
Cooling down after a hot weekend of cricket. The Western Warriors today took to the water in Perth in their first session after the weekend's 38-point win over Victoria, the team's second consecutive victory in the JLT One Day Cup tournament.
We've got a really young, exciting group and I'm looking forward to just playing with the boys and, as I said, just trying to win as many games for WA as possible.
Opening batsman and Narragan's own Shaun Marsh started out strong.
Shaun Marsh brings up his half-century.
Smashing 88 runs off 112, paving the way for WA, who finished their innings on 4 for 283, Victoria all out for 245.
It's nice to get a few runs, but more importantly, it's been nice to see the boys play well and, like you said before, get a couple of wins on the board.
Marsh taking out man of the match for the one-dayer. Younger brother Mitch Marsh also did well, hitting 47, not out of 52. The all-rounder scoring big in his first season as captain.
Yeah, it's been different. Yeah, the younger brother's telling the older brother what to do now, so no, he's done a great job.
The Western Warriors will now look for a third win in the JLT One Day Cup when they meet Tasmania on Saturday afternoon at the Wacker. Emily Evans, GWN7 News.
Competitive swimming was back in Broome at the weekend with the Barracudas hosting the annual Kimberley Short Course Championships. It was all held in their newly refurbished pool.
It was a big weekend for the Broome Barracudas. This year's Kimberley Short Course Championship attracted 69 swimmers, representing 9 clubs from all over the region. All of them enjoying the facilities at the newly refurbished Broome Recreation and Aquatic Centre. Short course competitions are really popular with swim clubs, with times in the 25-metre pools often a little quicker than those achieved in the Olympic-size 50-metre pools.
I like the event because it's good fun coming up and it's like a nice chill event.
The Barracudas are recognised for the strength of their squad and their success over the years. They started this competition 15 years ago and only once last year was it cancelled when the pool had to be shut for repairs.
Our performance squad regularly go down to Perth for competitions, for state competitions, both short course and long course. And we've also got a couple of swimmers this year and last have gone to the Pan Pacific Games.
For many Kimberley kids, this is their first chance to compete in a Swimming WA sanctioned championship event.
I'll train hard so I can swim for Australia.
Laura Thomas, GWN7 News.
Maybe future gold. The young Goldfields hockey player has been selected to play for the Australian country under-21 side and will head to Fiji in December for an international competition. Chris Souchon grew up in Zimbabwe and have never played hockey before moving to WA.
This country hockey player is heading to Fiji to represent Australia. 19-year-old Chris Souchon is a striker for the Kalgoorlie Norths. They won the premiership this year and after heading to the national competition in Townsville, he was selected for the country under-21 team at the international tournament in Fiji in December.
Wasn't expecting it, just not too sure, was a bit over the moon to be honest.
Not bad for a kid from Zimbabwe who had never played hockey before coming to Australia.
But then drove past the stadium one day, saw this AstroTurf stuff and thought it'd be cool, so I tried it out.
But now, it's a hobby that's going to stick.
Just the diversity, there's so many things you can do skill-wise, meeting new people, playing in tournaments such as this one.
The Australians will go up against Fiji, New Zealand and Japan for the title and show off Australia's country talent on an international stage.
There's a lot of young up-and-coming players in the country, not only in the metro cities, but the country is coming through as well.
Brendan Crew, GWN7 News.
Simone's back next with your working week weather. And then ahead in 7 News, a gun rampage in Las Vegas, mass casualties as hundreds of shots are fired into a crowd at a music festival. Now, Fuel Watch, keeping you informed on where to find the cheapest fuel prices where you live across WA. For a larger list of towns, check the Fuel Watch website online or phone 1300 304 054. Simone joins us now and we are on alert for fire season.
That's right, Noel. There's a fire warning in place for parts of the goldfields tomorrow. Hot, fresh, north to northwesterly winds across the northern goldfields ahead of a strong southerly change late in the day, so do take care. Meanwhile, for the rest of the state, possible thunderstorms north as a surface trough lingers. That will slowly move south into the Pilbara, and a front brushes past the Capes, bringing showers to the southwest districts. Into Wednesday, showers for the southeast Gascoyne reaching into the goldfields, clearing south though as a ridge of high pressure follows that trough and moves through. Then on Thursday, quite a bit of activity for the inland parts, thunderstorms expected. Showers will extend into eastern parts of the Gascoyne, goldfields and all the way up into the Pilbara. Rain's easing on Friday though over the southern interior, but showers move in over southern parts. Storms north tomorrow, Wyndham 39, but it's sunshine and 33 in Broome. Clear skies into the Pilbara, 34 degrees in Port Hedland, sunshine and 29 in Onslow. Winds southeasterly to 40 k's in Carnarvon, 26, becoming windy and 24 for Denham. Clear skies for Geraldton tomorrow and 23. It's partly cloudy and 23 also there in Jurien Bay. Possible morning shower for the southwest, Bunbury 18, Albany 14. Partly cloudy into the wheat belt, 21 for Northam. Clouds clearing and 23 for Southern Cross. Chance of a shower on the southeast coast, 17 for Esperance. And in the goldfields, showers and 28 in Kalgoorlie. To northern waters, a strong breeze off the Ningaloo coast, winds increasing to 25 knots during the day. There's a strong wind warning for western waters from Geraldton all the way down to the Lewin coast. Winds to 30 knots and seas to 3 metres, so do take care. That wind warning extends all the way to our southern waters, winds reaching 30 knots off the Albany coast with a swell there to 3 metres. Around the nation now, chance of a shower and 24 for Sydney, while in our capital it's mostly sunny and 20 for Perth. That's weather. Good night from me.
Thanks, Sim, and that's GWN7 News for this Monday evening. We'll have updates a little later on for you. Remember, you can watch or rewatch our bulletins anytime you like on YouTube. And for news 24 hours a day, go to GWN7.com.au. And if you've got some spare time, follow us on social media as well. We'll leave you tonight with more pictures of the Yamato Japanese drummers from our team. Good night, Western Australia.